So you probably know Disneyland is the most iconic theme park in the world, but what you might not know is that it was built in just 1 year. On July 17, 1955, Disneyland opened its gates for the first time. It was magical, it was ambitious, but it was an absolute mess. When people got in, the rides were broken down, women's high heels were sinking into the asphalt. People used counterfeit tickets to get in, so 28,000 people showed up, which was double the amount that they expected. On top of all that, it was over 100 degrees and half the drinking fountains didn't even work. It was so bad that newspapers referred to this as Black Sunday. So despite all that, Disneyland didn't fail, and in fact, today it's one of the most celebrated brands in the world. And when people think of quality, they actually think of Disneyland.
Disneyland is dedicated with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
How did a theme park go from having such a disastrous opening day to becoming one of the biggest entertainment empires in the world? What's there to learn here? So I'm a startup founder. I'm always looking for patterns or behaviors that I can learn from and implement, and this feels like an obvious lesson on this off-debate topic of speed versus quality. So let's zoom out a little bit and see what we can learn from Walt Disney's opening day disaster. So I think it's worth noting that most people assume speed and quality are on opposite ends of a spectrum, and it's actually pretty easy to take that at face value. The genius of Walt Disney was that he took an entirely different approach. He actually didn't aim for perfect, he aimed for real. A real park with real guests that gave real feedback. So if Walt had waited to launch the perfect version of his vision, it probably would have taken many more years, and it probably would have bankrupted him. Instead, he aimed for something functional. And the important part is he had a system in place to know what he needed to build next. So in software, nothing is ever truly done. It's not about shipping everything in the first version. It's about shipping something that gives you momentum, and something that you can improve over time. If Walt tried to build Disneyland as it is today on day one, nothing ever gets built. The dream dies. So how do you take a really ambitious product you're trying to build and scope it down to something that's functional for today? And once again, Walt built the perfect example for us. Disneyland wasn't built just once. It was built over and over again. So Walt didn't just launch something basic and hope that it magically improved over time. He built a system with 2 different tracks, one for the new rides and one for fixing what was already built. So the best software teams do the same thing. They create 2 different tracks and they don't wait around for things to break. They plan for the upkeep before it's a problem. This doesn't always mean that you have 2 separate teams, one on the features and one on cleanup. If you're a lean team, it's often the same team doing both things. It just takes more planning and coordination. So I plan for upkeep like it's a core product we're building. And our roadmap always has 2 different swim lanes, one for shipping things and one for stability. For me, it's not optional so that we don't have to be reactive. So this all sounds great, but what do you do when you have a launch date that feels impossible to hit? What do you do when you're running out of time?
No time.
Most teams panic, they delay. They try to fit everything into the project to still make it perfect. Despite all of the imperfections, Walt didn't change Disneyland's launch date. He actually scoped down what he was delivering, and he focused on building what he thought would matter most to his customers. So when you're under pressure on a deadline, don't ship less quality, ship less surface area. You have to learn how to cut the scope, not the standards. Legendary CEO Frank Slootman said something I think about all the time. Narrow the focus, up the quality, increase the speed. It's an entire launch strategy in 9 words. The goal isn't to ship something perfect here, it's to ship smart and then have a plan to keep going. Disneyland's a huge success because they never stopped iterating. The best companies are built for this evolution. They move fast, they improve constantly, and they never stop refining. In the end, it's not even about speed versus quality. It's all about momentum.